This and this, the Atari 8-bit podcast.
I mean, we didn't feel like we were sort of on a frontier as such, but we were, I guess, and breaking ground.
This is Antic, the Atari 8-bit podcast. I'm Kevin Savitz. Chris James worked at Thorn EMI, where he was a programmer and later a project manager. Later, he founded James Software, which specialized in game conversions to various computer platforms. His long list of Atari game credits includes Darts, Tank Commander, and several Jigsaw puzzle games such as European Scene Jigsaw Puzzles and Hickory, Dickory, Dock. He is also the husband of Hanan Samara, whom I interviewed previously, and whom you can hear providing color commentary in the background from time to time. This interview took place on November 13th, 2017. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for finding us.
Yes. Now, I'm going to do something unusual. Can you hand the phone to Chris, and can I interview him?
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Do you want to have a chat with him? Yeah, do it, by all means.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Good. My name's Kevin. I have a podcast about Atari computers, and I interview people, and you're my bonus surprise interview for today. So I understand you worked at Thorn EMI, and I'm looking now at a list of games that you are credited with, which includes such wonderful things as British Heritage Jigsaw Puzzles.
Oh my God! You've got like an official list of it.
Yeah, well, it's a list. I don't know how official it is. Darts, European Scene Jigsaw Puzzles, Hickory Dickory Dock, Baba Black Sheep. So a lot of, I think these were cassette-based games released by Thorn EMI.
That's right, yeah.
And Tank Commander as well. So can you tell me how'd you get into computers? How'd you get hired by Thorn EMI? Just kind of set me up with that story.
Goodness, so that's a strange story. I kind of dropped out of school. So I left school at 15. I got an apprenticeship repairing televisions, which I did for about 9 years. I think from about the second week I was trying to get out of there, but it took that long to get out. And by luck, I got a job repairing computers, which I did for a year or two. And then out of the blue, the agent who got me the job repairing computers phoned up and said, I got this company who writes software. Would you be interested? And I thought, oh, yes, please. And so that was it. Got an interview with Thorn EMI. I think they were desperate, and they gave me a job.
Nice. Had you programmed computers before then, or?
Only in my spare time. I bought an Ohio Superboard. I bet you don't even know what that is.
I've heard of it. I've never used one.
Okay, so it was the cheapest thing I could get that actually had a proper computer on it, and so I played around with that, and because it didn't have any high-level language, I had to learn in assembly. In fact, I had to learn in machine code, so that was how I taught myself. And so when Thorn EMI were looking for an assembly-level programmer, I kind of bubbled to the top, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So do you remember what they put you to work doing when you got there?
Straight into the jigsaw puzzles was the beginning of it.
Okay.
Just sort of, I mean, it's great, actually. It sort of locked me in a room and didn't come back to see me again for months. It was rather good.
So where did the art come from? I assume you wrote the software, the Jigsaw puzzle software, and the art came from somewhere else, perhaps, or?
The original artwork was written, believe it or not, on a PDP-11 because Thorn EMI also did some professional animation, and that one of the artists there put it together, and I got given this thing which had like 256 colors, and of course the Atari, as you know, only has 16 colors, or in the mode in which I was allowed to write it in anyway.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know, but the high color level was not released in the UK initially. It did come in, but later. Do you remember? Yeah. Sorry, this stuff's slowly coming back into my head now. So we had to write in the 16 colors. So I actually pretty much pixel by pixel converted the image into something the Atari could use. And the odd place where you've got extra colors are actually sprites.
Wow. That sounds terrible.
It was. Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. In a strange way, because you're restricted in what you can do. It kind of it makes it more challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, so they locked you in your room and you started making Jigsaw puzzle games. And then what happened? What happened next? I mean, I see a list of software. I don't know what happened in what order or anything. So,
I don't think I can remember the order either. Or
right.
even
Let's talk about
some of the stuff you mentioned. I'd actually forgotten I'd done.
well, all right. Let's talk about darts then. You made a darts game.
Oh, that's kind of of all the things I've written. That was probably the worst. But never mind.
Why is it so bad?
Well, someone comes to you and say, "Can you write a game about playing darts?" And you think, "Well, how on earth can you do that?" So I kind of there was this hand which shook. It's like a sort of a Parkinson's sort of hand, and you had to try and control it. I just, it was. See, yeah, you hear that, the comment from the back there. It was terrible. It was terrible, but it kind of got added into a compendium of other stuff. And everyone else seemed happy with it. So.
Okay. Nice. Something called Tank Commander, which I can't actually find online, but I see reference to it.
Tank Commander. Do you know? I think I wrote Tank Commander after I'd left Thorn EMI. Thorn EMI.
Oh, it was published by Creative Sparks, according to this.
Oh, okay.
Wherever they are. Look like a.
And that was just a sort of a pseudo 3D map with tanks and mortar shells and stuff and so on. Mm-hmm. Basically, I just had fun with it and played with it. I always enjoyed formulas, so I was playing with all the dynamics and getting all the gravity and everything right and so on.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And you did some kids software. It looks like Hickory, Dickory, Dock, and Baba Black Sheep.
Baba Black Sheep, I don't remember, which is strange. Do you remember? Yeah. Oh, Hanan remembers it. Yeah. I can't remember that one, but Hickory Dickory Dock, is basically a tiles game. I guess Baba Black Sheep is probably part of the same series, was it?
I think so.
You just slides the tiles around and put Humpty back together again, basically.
Right. I think these were games where there's tiles you have to slide around to get them in the position. Yeah, I see what that is now. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, nothing was by modern day standards was terribly clever. Did a tic-tac-toe? Did a noughts and crosses? Do you remember that? You don't remember noughts and crosses, but that was part of a series of something else, and I enjoyed that because I actually put some AI in there, so the system learnt, and every time it lost, it made sure it didn't repeat those mistakes, and eventually became totally unbeatable.
How fun!
But nobody ever actually noticed, which is really sad. Although I'll put this in here, and we'll see when somebody notices how good it gets, and then nobody ever noticed.
They played it once and went, "This is it's not a good player," and put it aside.
It could well be, actually. Yes.
Oh. Nice. All right. So what else did you do? You were project manager. Is that right?
I was a project manager, so I was kind of just looking after. I didn't do much in the way of projects. I got involved with some other stuff like looking after the sourcing of chips for making cartridges for Ataris and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What else did I do? Was I, when you did Jumbo Jet, was I your PM then or not? I was it? Okay, so there you are. See, I can take a little, small, tiny bit of credit for Jumbo Jet. And eventually I left Thorn EMI. I don't actually remember the motive behind leaving. Why I left. Somebody offered me a job, which was they were going to make me a director of Alphatronics. Remember? And that really didn't pan out. So I left that and started up my own company, which really mostly just did conversions of the American sort of hits. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of work for Atari.
All right. So what was the name of this company?
James Software Limited. Would you believe?
James Software Limited. That's very creative.
Yes. Bit pathetic, really, isn't it? Looking back.
So tell me how that happened. I mean, how would you get a contract to convert software? How much did they pay? How long did you have? How much trouble was it? Tell me.
Well,
about that.
when we first started, you would have like 4 or 5 months. You get paid quite a reasonable amount, maybe £10,000, which back in the 1980s was a lot of money. And then as time went by, you were expected to do them much more quickly, and you were getting paid an awful lot less for them until it got to the point where you were really a couple of months and £1,000 or something, and it was just not getting very productive, which is why I stopped doing it. But we had a lot of fun. Did some stuff for the BBC Micro, and did a lot of stuff for the Atari. And I did a lot of work for Atari converting onto the UK machines.
Oh, because the PAL machines there.
Yeah, so like Ghostbusters, for instance, I did the UK versions of Ghostbusters. The ones for the Amstrad, ones for the Spectrum.
Let's see. I'm looking at a list here. Space Shuttle Journey into Space.
Oh, good God, yes, I've forgotten that. Yes, yeah, I did that too. Did that for the converted onto the Spectrum. Yeah.
Master of the Lamps. I pirated that.
Master of the Lamps.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I guess it's a long time ago. I've forgotten half this stuff.
That's a good game. Let's see. Enduro. Some of these I don't know. Zorro?
Zorro. Oh, yes, we did the conversion of the Zorro. Although I didn't actually code that. It's a friend of mine coded that. I subcontracted that to a friend of mine, and he did it. But yeah, that was one of ours.
So did they give you the source code for one version, or did they just say, here's a game, make a play like?
It varied. Sometimes they gave us the source code, but more often than not, they just said, well, here's the game. And to be honest, I think the few times we got given the source code, I think it actually hampered us. It actually made us start thinking along the lines of the original, which then, of course, had a different hardware and stuff, and it actually got in the way. So mostly it was just, here's what the old one looks like, and you have the resources. They'd give you, say, here's the programmer's phone number if you need help or need anything. But mostly, yeah, just the game. Copy this.
Oh, nice. Did you remember any projects that were just like impossible? Just like, this computer cannot do this game. Sorry, here's your money back.
No, I don't think it was anything like that. I mean, we always produced something. I guess sometimes it wasn't quite as good as the original because the Atari is a good machine, and we try and put it down onto the Spectrum, which is a much simpler machine. Yeah. No sprites. I don't remember what the number of colors it is and stuff, but the resolution wasn't as good. So obviously you'd have a reduction in quality, but then the people who use those machines are used to that sort of quality anyway. So
sure. Nice.
So I don't think I ever had to actually say no, we can't do this.
Huh.
I had one I got fired on, but never mind, we won't go into that. but that wasn't anything to do with the restriction of the hardware. That was more to do with the guy I'd employed subcontracted to made a total mess of it. But
oh no. Yikes. Like another. Let's see. Caverns of Erebon. I don't know this game, but it was for the Atari.
Caverns of Erebon sounds. I don't know that one. I'm not sure. It doesn't sound like one of mine. Caverns of Erebon.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
maybe you did the conversion, or maybe this website's completely wrong. That's possible.
I think they're wrong. I don't remember that.
Okay. Good.
We did. Oh, hang on a minute. We did do a sort of a Defender-y sort of type thing going through caverns. Maybe that's what it was. I've just forgotten what it was called. Oh, maybe.
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like a scramble sort of game. I don't know. Just another, yeah.
I'm going to have to look it up and see if I remember.
It says 1986 saw the release of Caverns of Erebon on the Atari 8-bit system, an action game created by James Software Limited and distributed by Firebird Software.
Oh, good God. Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Blimey, see, you know what I did better than I do.
I'm just looking at the internet. Nice. Well,
I can't believe that the actual name James Software is out there still. That's incredible.
Well, there's a couple of websites that really try to index all the software made by these old companies. So
yeah.
And you did a boxing game, 3D boxing for the Amstrad.
3D boxing, that was only done on the Amstrad in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an interesting. That was actually I guess you see I'm not a fan of boxing, so it was quite hard for me to do that. But we got some good graphics done and animated some of the sort of the hits and the movements, the reactions, and so on and so forth, which I think came out okay. And if I was to be honest, I'd made more money out of that particular game than any other, largely because Amstrad advertised it on the TV.
Oh, and you got a royalty for the sales?
And I was running on a royalty on that one because that wasn't a copy, that was an original.
You say it was difficult because you didn't know anything about boxing, but it couldn't have been any more difficult.
Well, not that I didn't know, just I have no interest in boxing.
Sure.
So at first my enthusiasm was at quite a low ebb. But as you kind of get into the technicality of it, it starts to get a bit more interesting. But from the sports point of view, I just had no real enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, I get it. Just going to say it couldn't have been any more difficult than Hanan making a airplane game when she's never flown a plane.
Well, yeah. Although that was fascinating because I went to some of the meetings she went to about the maths. There was quite interesting.
Tell me.
I mean, we went to the. I can't remember. There was some lecturer we actually got advice from, didn't we? I can't remember who he was. Somewhere, and he just presented us with these pages and pages of formulas. And so when we first plugged all the formulas in, it ran like a total dog, of course. So we had to go through and make compromises, shall we call them, with some of the formulas, keep the spirit of the actual thing in without actually necessarily doing it precisely as it was supposed to be.
Sure.
And that was actually quite fascinating. Just how to do that and keep the whole thing exactly right. I think we did well. I think we actually got it so that it was like flying a real plane, and which in itself was a bit of a problem because it used to take a long time to get anywhere. But
the processing power was phenomenal.
Yeah, I've forgotten what your question was. Sorry.
I don't know.
You have too. I mean.
So what haven't I asked you about that time that I should have?
I'm trying to think. There were probably there was a huge amount of fun. It was. I mean, we didn't feel like we were sort of on a frontier as such, but we were, I guess, and breaking ground. Music. I was one of the first people in the UK to bring music into games. I think, although I think it had been done in the States before. And I don't know.
Did you write the music yourself, or hire someone else?
Mostly it was just published music that was out of the into the public domain. Mm-hmm. I mean all the Jigsaw puzzles and the tile games, Humpty Dumpty and so on. These are all sort of had music in them. I mean, in the UK, before the Atari came along, well, the Commodore came along at the same time. There wasn't really much that anything was capable of doing music, so we kind of pounced on those when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I can't remember if I ever composed anything. I don't think I ever did. I think I was never quite that confident of my abilities.
Sure.
But mostly it was a time when one person, this is the opposite of what Hanan said actually, but it's one person could sit in an office and could write a whole game, which is something that is just not possible nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I'm older than you, so
No, that was the period you went.
That was when I started. Yeah, when Thorn EMI later, it got really complicated, didn't it?
I was in the AI and Activision, like.
Yeah. So, but nowadays, of course, that just wouldn't even begin to be possible.
Sure.
because everything's so much more complicated.
Yeah, now it's whole teams of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of akin to making a movie nowadays. It's the same skills, same everything.
Yeah.
And that was part of I guess the most fun of it is just, locking yourself away and doing it and coming out with something that people would appreciate.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure.
If you enjoy these interviews and would like to contribute, there are 2 ways you can help. You can help fund these interviews directly by contributing to my Patreon. A small monthly contribution will help offset the expenses of making these oral history interviews. Contribute at patreon.com/Savitz. Or make a tax-deductible contribution to the Internet Archive, a nonprofit digital library that has done incredible things to preserve computer history. Make your tax-deductible contribution at archive.org/donate. Thanks.